الله الرحمن الرحيم وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله.
شكرا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Surah 6, ayah 75.
Is it 75?
Yeah, 675. Okay, before we start, is there anyone got any comments from the last discussion regarding Maqam Ibrahim?
It was a very informative and powerful explanation.
Okay, AK, you got any comment?
We did Ibrahim alayhi salam before, not so long ago before. But the way you handled it, Iqbal, and the way you did it, and I'm not trying to boost your ego or whatever like that. But really, you've done it. You've put a lot of meat in the important parts. That really, I've been thinking about the whole week. I've been thinking about, Allah Ta'ala tells us follow the millat of Ibrahim, and the dua Ibrahim made. That's stuck now. It's like worrying me. It's very, very nicely put and very nicely done. So, Alhamdulillah, shukr for that.
Okay. Yasir, you got any comments from the last discussion?
No new comments.
Okay. So in 675, right? Okay. So this ayah is saying here that Allah showed Nabi Ibrahim, right, the kingdom of the universe and the earth so that he might get certainty. So what Allah is saying here that Allah gave him knowledge of the universe. Now, how much knowledge, what part of the knowledge, that we don't know, right? We don't know exactly, but Allah is saying here that Allah gave him knowledge of the universe and the earth. He's talking about both the universe and the earth. Now, you know how huge the universe is, and at that point in time, we didn't have that much advancement in terms of technology and knowledge as we have now, right? So you can imagine how advanced Nabi Ibrahim was in terms of his knowledge of the universe. So once Allah gave him that knowledge, he now had certainty about the power of Allah, the greatness of Allah, the majesty of Allah, the wisdom of Allah, etc. Okay? And if you look at 74, it says there that, remember when Ibrahim said to his father Azar, why do you take these idols as gods? Surely I see you people astray. Okay, so now look at the difference. Where they are now serving these idols, they even made these idols, they manufactured them and all that, the people of Nabi Ibrahim. In 75, Allah is showing him the difference. That look at what Allah creates, the power, the majesty, the massive universe, the sun, the earth, the stars, the galaxies, all that. Okay? So look at the power of Allah. So you cannot commit the shirk. There's nothing equal to Allah. There's nothing that can come near Allah. To the majesty, the knowledge, the power, the greatness of Allah. Okay. Then in 76, okay. Now, these people at that point in time, the other thing that they were involved in, and throughout the earth, there were groups of people in South America and different parts of the earth, they were busy worshipping the sun, the moon, stars, bodies, etc., different celestial bodies, etc. So Nabi Ibrahim was trying to show them that if you're worshipping the star in 76, but then eventually it disappears, then there's no star during the day. So it doesn't make sense to worship the star. 77, when there was the moon at night, and then there was no moon during the day. The moon disappeared. So he's saying now, how does it make sense to worship the moon? 78, when he saw the sun, when they were worshipping the sun. Remember, there were groups of people all over the world worshipping the sun as well. You looked at the sun and say, okay, there's a sun there. But then eventually at night there's no sun there. It disappears. So Nabi Ibrahim was trying to use logic and reason to explain to those people that you cannot explained to his people that anything that you worship, it can disappear. It has limitation. It was created. Remember that Allah showed Nabi Ibrahim and gave him the knowledge of the creation of the universe, which means the universe includes the stars, the sun, the moon, all that. Allah gave him the knowledge. And through that, Nabi Ibrahim came to appreciate and value the power, the greatness, the majesty of Allah. Now you must remember, at that point in time, we're looking at like 5,000, plus minus estimated about 5,000 years ago. So this was the advanced stage which Allah took Nabi Ibrahim. This was the level of knowledge which Allah gave to Nabi Ibrahim. He took him to that level. And that showed Nabi Ibrahim that this is the majesty, the greatness, the power of Allah. So, from then on, he continued to make dawah, but then he was resisted. So, when we are thinking of now Maqam Ibrahim, this is some of the things that we look at, that we need to think of what Nabi Ibrahim, how he spoke to the people, how he explained to the people, how he tried to reason with the people, how he tried to invite them to the oneness of Allah, to the greatness of Allah, to the power of Allah, to the majesty of Allah. And also Nabi Ibrahim was highlighting that there is nothing in the universe, no matter how bright it is, like the sun, no matter how huge it is, or also how much light it can give, like the moon, okay? Or no matter how many of them there are in the universe, stars, and there are billions of stars according to scientists. All those are creations. They cannot be worshipped. They cannot be served. So there is only, that becomes shirk. So there is only Allah, the Creator, that we should serve. So that we should think they were mesmerized, they were amazed, they admired, they adored the sun, the moon, the stars. And they were so mesmerized with it that they actually were worshipping it. So in another ayah in the Quran, Allah says, do not adore the sun, the moon, star, but the creator of all that. So Nabi Ibrahim taught them to reverse and to change their way of thinking. You're looking at the sun now. That is a creation. It will cease to exist. You're looking at that moon. You think it's so powerful and bright and huge. It is a creation of the Almighty. You're looking at those stars there. You are amazed at the stars there. They are all creations of Allah. So Nabi Ibrahim taught them that imagine now, if you are admiring all that, imagine the power, the magnificence, the greatness, the knowledge, the wisdom of the Creator of all that. So how can you now go and commit shirk and associate with partners with Allah and associate other authorities with Allah and to create any other gods besides Allah? Everything that you are looking at, including yourself in the mirror, is a creation. And everything that you are looking at will not exist. It will stop existing. It will cease to exist. It will come to an end. Only Allah says in the Quran, Allah will remain. So Nabi Ibrahim used all these arguments and logic to explain to these people that this was it. He managed to win some people over, some people rejected, they never accepted. But some of them he did win over. Those were his loyal followers and they stuck with him all the way. Same like the Nabi, the final Nabi and all the Nabis. Same like Nabi Jesus, Nabi Isa. He had his disciples, he had his people that were around him, that supported him and that one. Now, coming back to the Maqam Ibrahim, this discussion is not on Nabi Ibrahim, this discussion is on Maqam Maqam Ibrahim. But we have to remember what Maqam Ibrahim, we said, what Nabi Ibrahim stood for. So we go back. When we go for Hajj, when we are looking at Maqam Ibrahim, and when we are looking at that Hajj, and we are promoting what Nabi Ibrahim stood for, and what he sacrificed for, and what his whole life revolved around, and what he lost, and what dua he made, and what he expected of us, being part of his millah, and he wanted the mu'mineen to be following his footsteps. So remember Allah said in the Quran, He gave different fadl to different Nabis. And this is one of the fadl that Nabi Ibrahim, Allah gave him. That He gave him that knowledge of the universe. Okay? That is Allah's wisdom. Why He did so. So, now, when people talk about Maqam Ibrahim, these are the things that should be promoted there in the Hajj, spoken about, taught to people, educated to people, so that when they come back from the Hajj, they get involved in these things and promote these things to continue that legacy, the work that Nabi Ibrahim did, and to reach out to other people, including the Muslims, and to remind them that Nabi Ibrahim was not, like Allah says in the one ayah in the Quran, he was not of the mushrikeen.
The next one.
Okay, any comments up to that point, Tabira?
I see, beautifully explained, and Alhamdulillah, it was wonderful knowledge.
Okay, Ike, you got any comments?
Yeah, I want to take them back to 475. When you gave us this verse to look at, you say we're going to discuss this verse now. The first glance of the verse, the thing that struck me was al-muqinin. That I recognize exactly what we studied in the previous two verses. Al-muqinin, the other two, what was it? Muflihun and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to bring it to the class attention that when we're reading Quran, we need to look at those kind of things. So we know that okay, we just need to look at the root word for waqaya or waqanu, na, and then ya noon, we know it's plural.
Then also this one.
That's all I have to say.
Okay. Sarah, you got any comment up to this point?
No, you mentioned that Allah said that He was not of those of the idolaters, right? And that's the next verse, 379. Oh, 679, sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
You see? So it says there in the Quran, he was not of the mushrikeen, okay?
Mm.
Good point. Shireen, you got any comment up to this point?
No, Shukran Iqbal, well explained. Thank you.
Zaida, you got any comment?
Yes, I just want to know if the Quran was revealed to mankind, and Hajj is also where when we go there, we need to discuss things and bring back, those discussions and discuss it with other people. Why are non-Muslims not allowed in Makkah?
No, according to the Quran, non-Muslims are allowed. When we get to that verse, we'll discuss it, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm just a bit confused on that.
We'll deal with it. Good questions, right? We'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll come across
when we
it
get there,
again.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Adam, you got any comments?
No comment yet.
Okay. Yasir, yeah? Yasir, you got any comments regarding so far? Nabi Ibrahim?
No comments now. Maybe later.
Okay. Sharin?
Yeah, I just have a deeper understanding of that specific beginning of the verse.
Okay. Shanaz?
Jay, I have a comment. So all that you have discussed, especially in these last few verses in Surah 6, it shows that Allah in His wisdom, He showed Nabi Ibrahim the universe and the earth and everything in it, in order for him, because from this point forward where he started teaching the people about rejecting idols, his life had became considerably more difficult. That in his old age he was still asking for children, making dua for children. So if Allah in His wisdom knew that this point in time that Nabi Ibrahim was shown what Allah showed him, it would hold him in steadfast in the oneness of Allah going forward in his life. Because if it were not the case, this is my understanding, then the chance to fall off the track and, believe in the sun or the moon and the stars would have been an option, but Allah made sure that He gave him a strong foundation so that he could go on with his life regardless of what came upon him.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Very good comment.
Yes.
Very relevant. But also you must remember that how does it apply to us about Nabi Ibrahim being surrounded by shirk? What are the lessons we can draw from there? Anyone want to comment?
I'll comment again.
Yeah.
Hold steadfast in the guidance of the Quran and in the oneness of Allah. And no matter what comes your way, hold firm to it, because that will show you the path forward. It will always be a light guiding you, and that's what you need.
Good point. Very good.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Good.
Yeah,
In terms of
so
we can draw for ourselves as being surrounded by shirk. What do you learn from Nabi Ibrahim? Yeah, Yasir?
so Nabi Ibrahim was in the minority, right? And despite being in the minority, he was strong-headed, and he put his trust. Well, firstly, he had to trust his own logic, and then then when the guidance from Allah came in, he stuck to it, and he was steadfast in it. So despite being in the minority, he stood his guns. Yeah.
Right. Good point. Okay. Any other comments? Listen to the comments that are made by people here, because when people make comments, we also learn from those comments, okay?
Yes.
So pay
Yes.
attention when someone is also saying something.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments? What do we learn? What lesson do we draw in terms of him being surrounded by shirk, growing up in a home and family that is committing shirk? Any other comments? Anyone?
You get when you especially for me and in my personal capacity, you get emotional about this whole thing, and then you want to start wanting to the person close to you is doing the wrong thing. Then you want to tell this person, you want to send them Quran verses and stuff like that, and that's how I felt after a couple of weeks that we had with Nabi Ibrahim, and I'm still weighing the pros and cons. Do I send these verses to this guy and let him? I don't know. It's a catch-22 situation, because now what it is, and you want to try and put these people on the right, but you send it to them, they're not going to listen to you.
Okay.
I think we all experience these things in life with our families, our friends, and everybody, exactly like how Nabi Ibrahim experienced this in his life. And it shows us that we have to be strong. Nabi Ibrahim made hijrah, and because of his his logic, but also he stuck to the guidance that he received from Allah. But in all of that, we have to also understand that you got to have sabr, that is, be steadfast, right? You must persevere, and also you must be persistent, right? because I think that also is very, very important. Making sabr and also putting in maximum effort, because it takes a lot on a person mentally and for whatever, emotionally, psychologically. It takes its toll, and Nabi Ibrahim just has proven to us that it's possible to go it alone, and there will be success at the end of the road.
Okay. Good point, Sarah. As long as the road doesn't have potholes.
Oh, yeah.
But there will be potholes along the way anyway.
Yeah.
That's what sabr is. Anyone else want to comment on drawing the lessons of Adam? Zaida?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I think Adam, just 1 minute. Adam also, he had some battles and issues and struggles to get people into the Quran. So Adam, when you guys were talking, Adam understands where you're coming from. Because Adam's been long into the Quran with me. Yeah, Adam, go ahead.
Zaida was speaking. Zaida, go ahead. I'll come up to you.
No, Adam, I just wanted to say that I agree with AK and Zada, because I find myself in the same boat. That's it.
All right.
Which, Zaida? Zaida?
With some phone. With some phone. I know you
Zaida,
found the phone.
where's this boat of yours? Which boat? Is it still sailing?
Yes, it's here in Cape Town.
Your boat is still sailing?
Yes, it sailed away already.
Okay, keep sailing, Zaida. Okay, Adam?
Yeah, the boat. Every one of us, we reading Quran, we understanding Quran, and there are thousands of other people as well who are studying Quran. And because of the internet, information available of people understanding Quran. And the positive thing is that once you start reading and understanding Quran, you get this beautiful feeling in you. You feel like you are now a free person. You are a free thinker. That's what Quran makes you, as a free thinker. And the biggest benefit of understanding Quran is the wisdom that comes with it. So never mind, we are all surrounded with shirk and the jahiliyyah around us, and sometimes even in our own families. But still, that feeling of goodness is there, that this enlightenment has come to us. And we so wish that this enlightenment gets passed over to everybody else. It's an exceptional feeling. And it's impossible to go back to our old culture or rituals or roots, whatever the case may be. It's impossible. This is why we appreciate Nabi, all the Nabis, not just one Nabi. We appreciate each and every Nabi and the struggles they've had with their people. And to a small extent, we experience exactly the same thing. It makes us stronger, and we have a lot more courage coming directly from Quran. We don't need any other human being to direct us, to give us direction. Everything is coming from Quran. So we are liberated and we become free thinkers with full of wisdom. It's impossible to go back to the old ways. So the more programs we have of this nature, the more discussions we have of this nature, it just reinforces our beliefs. So we should never be sad, no matter what the situation is within our families, within the outside circles. Our job is like we following each of the Nabis and the Rasuls, that they continued the work of giving the dawah, and we're talking about 7.8 billion people in the world, and Muslims comprise less than 20%. So the scope of our experience is just widened. So yeah, as day goes, we don't feel bad for people in the sense that we despise them. No, it's unfortunate, but we always keep trying. This is what I learned from these verses. Shukran.
Good contribution, Adam. Food for thought, eh? Sarin, you got any comment?
No.
Okay, so one of the things that's a parallel between Nabi Ibrahim and the final Nabi Muhammad, notice is that Nabi Ibrahim had to go into exile. Nabi Muhammad had to leave Makkah, go to Medina. For the same reasons. Because they were opposing the shirk. Both of them were opposing the shirk. Nabi Ibrahim moved away from his people. Allah instructed him to move. And Nabi Muhammad had to leave Makkah to go to Medina. You notice what is common there now? Okay. So human beings have this tendency to commit shirk. Nabi Isa, they made him into a god. Some of the people believe he's a god. Nabi Isa, and Nabi Isa came as a Nabi. You see, so human beings have this tendency to commit different forms of shirk. And giving the values that Allah has to other human beings or other creations or creatures, which those values only Allah possesses, those attributes. So there's those lessons from Nabi Ibrahim, Nabi Muhammad, those honorable Nabis, the sacrifices they both. Nabi Muhammad also had to leave his family, his belongings, his possessions, and move away. Same story. Nabi Ibrahim, same story. Leave everything valuable. They grew up there, their roots were there. They had to leave everything and move, undertake hijrah. So if the situation becomes unbearable, we cannot compromise from what we're learning from Nabi Ibrahim, even Nabi Muhammad, honorable Nabis, that if a situation comes, first of all, you don't compromise on shirk. There's no compromise. You have to break ties with shirk. And you have to break ties with people that are involved in shirk. If they are influencing you to get into shirk. So you can keep the communication with them, but when it comes to shirk, then you don't compromise, then you move away. Okay? So now we learn from these Nabis that if it's your family, if it's your roots, if it's where you grew up, no matter who they are, you got to break away when it comes to shirk. You cannot compromise. So you have to come to the extent what we learn from them, you have to give up everything, your possessions, your children, wherever, or if it's your family, your whatever close or blood relatives, your neighbors, whoever it is. You have to break away. That's what they did. Okay? The other thing that they did is invite others to the oneness of Allah. So by doing that, they created a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And through that brotherhood and sisterhood which they created, that's where now Allah gave them the strength now to continue the resources. They developed that brotherhood. The brotherhood and sisterhood grew bigger and bigger. And through that, together, collectively, they were able to overcome and continue the work, their mission. So like Yasir was saying, initially they were all minority. You will notice that Nabi Muhammad was a minority. Nabi Ibrahim was a minority, but they didn't remain a minority. They eventually became a majority. So what we learn also from here, we can be a minority today. It does not mean we're going to be a minority forever, because Allah's help is always near. So when Allah's help and support is there, we are no longer a minority. With the help of Allah, we are a majority. Okay? So as long as we follow the guidance of Allah, we follow the millah of Nabi Ibrahim, the method, the procedure of Nabi Ibrahim, then, and Nabi Muhammad, where he was given the Quran, and we follow the guidance of the Quran, then we're no longer a minority. If we continue that work and we persist, like Asara said, we make sabr, we continue on the journey, eventually we will become stronger and more powerful. We will be able to overcome now that shirk that was prevalent. We were able to resist it. Okay? And in both cases they wanted to assassinate them. They wanted to assassinate Nabi Ibrahim.
Yeah.
They wanted to assassinate Nabi Muhammad.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons, through the guidance of Allah, Nabi Muhammad knew it and he was asked to leave. Through the guidance of Allah, Nabi Ibrahim knew it was coming and he had to leave. So in a situation where we are faced with shirk and we find that we are having problems and we are in difficulty and our lives are in danger, then we need, at that point in time, we need to undertake hijrah. We need to move away. move away from a situation, go to a place where we can find safety. And then there Allah opens doors. The way He opened doors for Nabi Ibrahim and Nabi Muhammad, and the help of Allah comes eventually. Ni'mal Mawla wa ni'mal Nasir. Allah is the best of protectors, best of helpers. Tawakkal ala Allah, and put your trust in Allah's laws and His support, and Allah will make a plan. And Allah is wa makaru wa makarullah. Allah is they plan, they plot, but Allah is the best of planners. Allah's plans are always ahead of their plans. Always. Okay? As long as we follow their guidance. So these are the things that we can learn from Nabi Ibrahim. So coming back to Maqam Ibrahim. When we're talking about now Maqam Ibrahim, these are the things we must now look at and think of. And the other thing that Nabi Muhammad and Nabi Ibrahim did is they constantly gave dawah. They constantly taught their people, educated their people, invited their people to the truth, to the haqq, to the guidance of Allah. They continued that work. And you can see Nabi Ibrahim, how much logic he used. Remember the reason and logic he used was the idol, he broke the one. And then they asked him who broke it. And he said, no, ask the others who broke it. He was trying to use reason and logic to explain to them. When they were worshipping the sun, the moon, stars, etc., he tried to use reason and logic to explain to them, okay? So these are some of the things we're learning from Nabi Ibrahim. Okay. And then we can go to Surah 37, 109.
37?
109.
109. Right, we got 37, 109.
Put it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 37, 109. It's saying here,
It's a salam.
Salamun ala Ibrahim. Okay. So peace on Ibrahim. كذلك نجزي المحسنين. Thus do we Allah reward those who do beneficial deeds.
Muhsinin.
إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين.
Mu'minin.
And surely he was of those who had iman. He was of the mu'minin. Okay. وبشرناه بإسحاق نبيا الصالحين. And we gave him good news. The birth of Ishaq, a Nabi, of those who are Salihin, followed the guidance immaculately. وَبَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهَا عَلَى إِسْحَاقَ. And we gave barakah and gave him Ishaq. And obviously there are some Muslim of them are some who are unjust, who are violators of human rights, who are oppressors. So what Allah is saying here is that Nabi Ibrahim was, peace on him, forever. He is always protected. He is always in a state of peace. He is always in a state of security and comfort. Always protected by Allah. Why?
Allah was happy with him.
Yeah. Okay.
Nabi Ibrahim followed Allah's instructions accurately.
Yes. Any other comments? Why Salamun ala Ibrahim? Blessing?
He was steadfast, and
He
no
was-
matter how difficult it became, he still followed the guidance of Allah.
That's it. Good point. Any other comments? Why?
Made sacrifices, especially with his family.
That's okay. So Allah is saying here that he was peace on him always. He's always under Allah's protection. Don't we all want that?
Yes.
For sure.
Inshallah.
Don't we all want eternal peace in this world and akhirah? Don't we always want to have that comfort and the protection of Allah all the time?
Yes, of course, inshallah.
Okay. So that is what Maqam Ibrahim means. We follow in the footsteps of Nabi Ibrahim. And then we must be of those who are. Why Allah is saying كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ? Because he was of those muhsinin. He was of those who applied hasana, beneficial deeds. And he was not of the mushrikeen. He did not commit shirk. And he was steadfast. And he made sacrifices. And he was patient. And he always turned to Allah.
True.
And he followed his iman, he was convinced. So these are the things we learn from Nabi Ibrahim. And then the last verse I want to look at tonight before we sign off. Surah 6, verse 83.
Sorry, Mark, Surah 6.
6, ayah 83.
Thank you.
وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا آتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. You got it? 683.
Yep.
Now can you read fast? Correct.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وتلك حجتنا آتيناها إبراهيم على قومه نرفع درجة من النشاء إن ربك حكيم عليم صدق الله العظيم.
شكرا.
MashaAllah.
Like I say here, this is our argument, Hujjah. Now you will notice the word Hujjah and Hajj is the same root word. So Hajj has to do with argument, discussion, debating. Okay? Ataynaha, we gave it to Ibrahim against his people. Allah says that we raise in degrees whoever we want to. Right? Darajatin min nasha. Inna rabbaka hakimun alim. And surely Allah is
All wise, all knowing.
all-knowing and all-wise. Okay? So Allah raised Nabi Ibrahim in stature, honor. Remember that he is respected and honored by the bulk of the people in the world today until the end of time. Bulk of the religions in the world today are Islam, Christianity and Judaism.
Yes.
And these groups of people all honor Nabi Ibrahim. And be honored by these people, those that are living now, and the new generations to come later and later and later, till the universe comes to an end. You will always be honored, you will always be respected. His status will always be high amongst people. So Allah is saying here that when we follow his guidance, when we follow the Maqam Ibrahim, the Millah of Ibrahim, then Allah will raise us in honor and status, okay, according to Allah's plans and according to Allah's wisdom. So Nabi Ibrahim will never ever be forgotten by bulk of the people. Especially, and when Muslims, whenever they are reading the Quran, they are always thinking of Nabi Ibrahim. When they go for Hajj, even though they do not understand Nabi Ibrahim the way we're discussing it, the way we've been discussing it in last maybe week or two, but Nabi Ibrahim is still always honored, respected, and his status is always at an elevated level. And Allah has given him that high status. That is the reward in this world. And in the Akhirah, Allah says, he will remain, he is one of those who are salihin. Okay? And then you see 84, Allah says, and we bestowed upon him Ishaq and Yaqub. And each one of them we guided. And Noah we guided. And Dawood and Sulaiman and John and Yusuf and Musa and Harun. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And thus do we reward those who do hasana, beneficial deeds. You see? So, Nabi Ibrahim was guided by Allah. And the way he applied the guidance, the way he practiced it, the way he sacrificed and committed himself, Allah is pleased with him, Allah praises him, and Allah honors him. So if we follow in their steps, we learn from them, we honor them, we make them our role models, we try and emulate them, and we try our best to copy what they did, that we will be of those who will be raised in this world, and in Akhirah we will be of those who are salihin, and we ask Allah, inshallah, to guide us to that status, and inshallah we ask Allah to join us with the salihin, and to join us in the company of the Nabis in Akhirah as well.
stop. On Monday you said you were going to read what Pervez had to say about Nabi Ibrahim. Would you do that on Monday next week then?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten. I need to come to that verse.
Okay.
Okay? So we ran out of time now. So hopefully, inshallah, Monday, I will go to that verse and read the translation of Pervez. And he did a very good job the way he translated that ayah. Really impressive. I love the way Pervez translated it. So I want to read from there, inshallah. Then when we continue our discussion, because it forms part of the Maqam Ibrahim and part of what Nabi Ibrahim stood for. Okay, unfortunately we ran out of time now, Shanaz.
No problem.
Okay. But I haven't forgotten. That's part of the next ayah. Okay. Alright, so that particular ayah will really broaden our understanding of Nabi Ibrahim, the Maqam Ibrahim, and the Hajj. Okay. Alright, Serene? Final comment?
No comment.
Okay, Shanaz?
No comment.
Shireen?
No comment. Shukran, Iqbal.
Sabira?
Shukran, alhamdulillah. It was a beautiful lesson again. Allah reward you.
Zaira?
No comment from me.
Okay. Aida?
Now, inshallah, we're looking forward to the next lesson. It's a continuation, and there's so much for us to think about. There's so much way we can get from here. But you've done an excellent job, Iqbal. Once again, shukran for that, and the group.
Okay, shukran. Okay?
Thanks, Iqbal. Nothing else we can say. Shanaz, well done for remembering that what Iqbal is supposed to do. Thank you, Iqbal.
Okay. Sarah?
No, shukran, Iqbal.
Alright, so those are some of the food for thought for Maqam Ibrahim that we should think about when we think of Honorable Nabi Ibrahim. As you can see from here, what we are learning from Nabi Ibrahim. Now you can imagine what we can learn from all the other Nabis when we go through the Quran. And the lessons we can draw from all the other Nabis. And why Allah put certain aspects of their life in the Quran. Only certain parts of the Nabi's life, certain aspects of their life, certain history of their life, Allah puts in the Quran. There is wisdom why Allah selected those portions of their life. How Allah selected it. So that we can draw lessons from there. And those lessons will help us to have better lives, to have peaceful lives, to have comfortable lives, and to lead lives free of trauma, hardships, and difficulties. And the one thing also we must remember, that the Nabi's lives were not easy. They had tough lives. They went through difficulties. They went through hardships. They went through tribulations, tests, and trials. It was not a picnic for them. Their life was not a holiday. So imagine what they had to go through. And when we go through difficulties, hardship, we can see and understand and appreciate what they had to go through and how they accomplished it and how they continued their life. Despite the challenges, the obstacles, the misery, the suffering, the trauma they had to go through. All the Nabis. So it will be interesting and it will be very exciting to learn from all the honorable Nabis. Allah mentions them, the stories in the Quran. وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ فَإِذَا Allah that teaches us عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ taught human beings what they do not know. وَلَا يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And Allah is all the knowledge, and Allah is perfect in knowledge and perfect in wisdom. And inshallah we ask Allah to guide us to die as mu'mineen, and we ask Allah to join us with the Nabis, in the company of the Nabis, the Salihin, in the Akhirah. Salam everyone, take care.
Wa alaikum salam.
Shukran.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين. صدق الله العظيم.